welcome to another edition of Crime Time with Dutyron. Guys, I'm a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. And if you like all things true crime related from both me and Ed Wallace, that's the police and detective's perspective. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you will get all things Dutyron and where is he? There he is. This guy, Ed Wallace. When we go live or upload another video, I don't like him on that side. I'm going to move him.
Oh,
hey, oh. Special thank you to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all the folks who positively engage with me and Ed Wallace. You guys are what makes this a great place. I thank you very much, and I know Ed does too. I'm just thanking you from both of us. We're doing double duty today. This is our second live stream. Naomi Irion. This is the young girl, 18 years old, 18 years young, who was abducted and now we know murdered from the parking lot on Saturday, March 12th at the Walmart. Today, released by the Churchill Sheriff's Department in a press release and all over the local news over there, cause and manner of death released. Ed, some of your thoughts on what we got out here today?
Yeah, it's another tragic case, and apparently they have a span of several days, according to the release, between the 12th. We'll show it later, but it's almost what were we saying, Ron?
It was like 17 days. It's quite a span from the beginning.
From the time she was abducted, yeah. So it looks like from the 12th. I'm sorry.
It was saying the March 12th to the
25th.
Yeah.
So if that is true, if that is true, then he had to have had her stashed away someplace.
It would make you think that, but before we get into that, again, we just want to show just a little bit of media. Ed's got something queued up here, so again, I'm gonna lean on Ed Wallace because I didn't really have much time to prepare for this. So Ed, what do you got for us so the folks can see what what's been reported?
All right, let's see what I have here.
It's all developed today. Thank you, Ed.
Details this afternoon about the murder of 18-year-old Naomi Irion.
That's right. The suspect, Troy Driver, is accused of kidnapping and killing Fernley teen Naomi Irion last month. Now, according to newly released court documents, Driver shot and killed Naomi before burying her in a remote area of Churchill County. News 4's Janae Ryan is here now with what else we're learning about what happened to Naomi. Janae?
Well, within the last hour, we found out from the Churchill County Sheriff, Naomi was shot in the head and chest. We don't know how many times yet. Earlier in the day, News 4 did get a hold of a new criminal complaint filed by the Lyon County District Attorney. Here are some new important details of accusations against Driver that paperwork has. Driver shot and killed Naomi between March 12th and 25th, the day he's accused of kidnapping her and the day he was arrested. He murdered and buried her in rural Churchill County, where she was found on the 29th. He destroyed or hid pieces of her cell phone in different spots across different Nevada counties. That could be connected to those searches in rural areas based on those pings. He got rid of his truck tires, so that evidence wouldn't be sitting around. That would be the truck News 4 saw taken away from his house, the one detectives asked the public to look for. A Driver was originally charged with kidnapping. He now faces charges of open murder, burglary, and destroying evidence. He is expected to be arraigned on those charges soon. His pretrial is now set for May 10th. After a delay. News 4 will keep you updated with any changes. Live in studio, Janae Ryan, News 4 on your side.
Amazing.
40,000 signing a petition.
All right, let me shut this down.
Thank you. I took it off the screen, so now we can't hear it. So there you heard it, folks. Unfortunately, we've come to find out today, and Ed, you and I are used to covering these type of cases, actually going out. You were a crime scene investigator. It just still shakes you to the core when you hear that this guy held her and kept her, shot her in the head, shot her in the chest, and then buried her in a shallow grave out in the middle of nowhere in Churchill County. You heard the reporter say that he along the way threw out her cell phone to try to distract, change.
Yeah, he broke the phone up and threw parts out along the routes that he was taking, and apparently they found these things in the searches.
Yeah, due to pings on maybe a piece that he might have thought he, or before he thought he disabled the phone, it was still sending out stuff.
Right.
Ed, you want to talk a little bit about how extensive this crime scene potentially could be? You're talking about from his residence, well, actually from the original location to his residence, perhaps, and then out to the desert, and that was quite a distance.
Yeah, it is quite a distance, and there are all types of forensic evidence that was involved here. And you see, he drove off road into a secluded area of Nevada, so he had to go on some dirt roads where he potentially left his tire tracks for his truck, and he had the mindset to remove those tires after he did his dirty deed. He had the mindset to remove those tires and replace them with different tires, so they couldn't match the tire tread patterns that might have been found where the body was recovered back to his truck. And so they charged him with that. They figured that out. They found out. In addition, there's all kinds of forensic evidence, trace transfer evidence, from her vehicle to his clothes to her vehicle, fingerprints, DNA, her clothes to any of the locations that he may have hit her in, his vehicle.
Yeah.
And then his vehicle fibers and so forth on her clothes, when she was buried. The soil, the vehicle's undercarriage would have to be looked at, the wheel wells, and look for the soil and the plant life that may have been transferred to his vehicle. And then on his clothes, we'd have to get those clothes, identify the clothes that from the video of the abduction, find those clothes and see what we can find in terms of her presence being on his clothes. And then the ballistics evidence, we got to get the gun, the bullets, have that all matched up. Let's see if he has, I don't think he would have been able to purchase a legal handgun because he was a prior convicted felon.
But he could get an illegal handgun from
absolutely
any perpetrator in the area, any bad guy. You could just get it from. Thea Breska, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker, and also I want to say thank you to Mom of 457 Rose. She sent in a $10 super chat, but it was a very kind message that she put on the screen. I want to put it out there. Love this show, especially the mods. We appreciate you all. So. Yeah, thank you to our mods. The mod squad is great here. And this crime scene, again, like you said, is so involved. There's so many moving parts to it, and so many different jurisdictions involved, because we've traveled through several counties within Nevada, and that's what makes it extremely tricky, because you need to get everything, or as much as you can from the evidence. What I found a little odd and off-putting is that I didn't hear anything about this today. I received a text message from Rocky. Rocky sent me a text message just maybe 20 minutes ago, and he said, "Hey, Ron, did you hear about this?" And I was sitting on the couch enjoying a cup of coffee after dinner, and I was like, I almost fell off the couch. I was like, "What?" So I immediately text Rocky back. I said, did the family get notified about this beforehand? And he said, well, let me check. And I was just surprised to find out that this news broke into the news media and on the Churchill Sheriff's Facebook page, but the family found out through reading it. And to me, it just didn't seem right. And I kind of question still now that maybe they did contact the mother, and maybe the brother, and maybe they got it wrong. I don't know. It just doesn't sound like normal procedure. You notify the family first. But again, that's neither here nor there. But this information came out kind of like undercover. Like I didn't see not one video. I asked you to see if you could find one, and you the great detective that you were able to find it. I couldn't even find a video about it.
Yeah, it is disturbing if that's the way it played out. Now, to be quite honest with you, the brother probably or the sister probably wouldn't get the notification. The mother would get the notification, and maybe the brother just doesn't know that the mother was notified. But I find that hard to believe that
Yeah.
the mother wouldn't have been got notified and didn't tell her children. So I hope this isn't true, but if it is, shame on this department for not having made the notification to the family first before releasing the press release on Facebook.
Right. Yeah. I'm hoping that that's not how it went down. This is a good comment. Louise Tresco says, you guys need to look into, see if he's involved in other murders.
Yeah, we've been saying that. We've been saying this is not the first time this guy's done this.
Definitely.
Okay.
We've been talking about it. And Ed, you more so than I, right away from the get, in the beginning, when we first started talking about it, you're like, Ron, I wouldn't think that this is this guy's first rodeo. So, yeah, good question. Good comment there.
And he was collared for disposing a body in the time that he did time.
Yeah.
So he's done this before. Well, I mean, typically these guys are transient, and that was in California, right? If I recall correctly.
Yeah.
So these types of people are very transient. So wherever this person's lived, you got to look at some cold cases or open cases with similar MOs and see if we can put this guy to those crimes.
Yeah, agreed. I want to try to see if I can get. Yeah, I mean, detectives should be looking at their open 61s, open cases. We call them 61s over here, but open cases for unsolved murders, and definitely look at this guy. Look at now you got his DNA. I mean, they should have had it prior.
His DNA, fingerprints, hairs and fibers, ballistic evidence. Maybe he used this gun more than once.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if back when he was collared at 17, I think he was 17 years old, if they got DNA back then, if they were doing that. I know you probably.
Well, he's what, 42? What is he, 42?
41.
41. We started DNA in the 90s.
Yeah. So they probably did get it. They probably did get it because.
And if he did 17 years, and let's say. How many years did he do? I mean, he was 17 when he got arrested, right?
And I think he did 12, either 12 or 7, 12 or 17 or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's whatever the case may be. Now that they have him right now, they definitely have his DNA. They can go back and go right to that database and do the checks. But let me read quickly to the folks here just a little bit of the story. It says an amended criminal complaint filed Tuesday charges the suspect in Naomi Irion's kidnapping and killing with first-degree murder and alleges he killed her by shooting her before burying her body in the desert. The complaint also alleges Troy Driver buried her body between March 12th, as you said, Ed, and March 25th, which is 17 days. That's a 17-day gap. So they go from the 12th to the 25th in an attempt to conceal the murder. According to the Churchill County Sheriff's Office, Naomi died of a gunshot wound to the head and to the chest. Savage. What a fucking savage. Driver is also accused, excuse me, guys, sorry about that. Driver is accused of destroying Naomi's cell phone and also allegedly disposing of his tires on his truck in an effort to cover up the crime. And you want to talk about the tires and the significance there, because we've mentioned this many a time.
Yeah. So, there are several types of evidence you can get from tires. It's what we call, first type is called class characteristics. So from the class characteristics, based upon the dimensions of the tires and the tread size and the tread pattern, you can get a make and manufacturer and size, okay? And then if you're driving around, long enough, you're going to create defects in the tires. There's going to be damage to the tire treads and so forth, which are going to make the tires more unique. And that type of evidence we call individualistic evidence. So because what are the odds of someone having they may have the same make and model and size tires, but the same exact defects. So by that you can photograph the tire impressions in the sand, say, or the soil by where the victim was buried. and then cast it with what we use a thing called dent stone. It's the same material that your dentists use to make a mold of your teeth. And we mix it, it's powder and water. We mix it up together, and then we pour it into the impression, and it hardens. And then we get a three-dimensional impression, a model of the tire impression, and we clean it up. And then once we find the tires, we ink the tires and rolled it over paper to get an inked impression of the tires. And then we try to match the tires in the same fashion as we match fingerprints. Okay. Wow. And the same thing is done with footwear impressions. Now we have to find his shoes, because if you walked out in that desert and there could be pollen from the plants, it could be soil from that we can match back to that location where the body was buried. And the same thing for the shoes that he wore by the Walmart. So there's a lot of evidence that we could look at, and then that soil gets transferred into the interior of the vehicle. Did he vacuum the interior of the vehicle? Did he throw out the car mats and so forth and so on? A lot of evidence we can find there, but it appears they found the tires.
Right. What's the significance of the tires he changed out? Is that important as well to recover those?
Oh yeah. What we're getting at is that he had an initial set of tires on when he drove to the location to bury her. He left tire impressions at that site and coming and going. He didn't take any. Apparently, he didn't make any efforts to try to destroy the tire tread. But he knew he did that. He must be watching forensic programs or whatever the case may be, and he knew about it. So he decided to take all 4 tires off his truck and replace them with different make and model tires than the ones that he left impression evidence with at the scene.
What I was asking you is, someone in the chat said, did they recover the tires he actually changed out?
It sounds like they did, but I'm not sure. I can't confirm that. But in order for them to charge them with that, they must have come up with some evidence that he in fact did this. Right. Maybe because, he bought used tires from a junkyard, or he bought new tires from a tire store. And, with all the publicity that's out there in the news about this case, somebody came forward and said, hey, this guy bought 4 new tires from me, or this guy bought these used tires from me, and they gave them up. Right. It's speculation on our part, but the way they're charging this in there, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have that evidence.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping for sure that they have it, because that'll also be instrumental in, proving all of this whole crime he planned out and went, all full tilt with it.
Look, he told somebody, or he had an accomplice, because somebody gave the sheriff's office this tip of where the body was. That was a tip that they received, and that's what sent them over to that clandestine grave.
Right, and we speculated when I believe, what was the news reporter that went over there to try to talk? Brian Enton, right? Didn't he go over? He walked up the driveway, and it was allegedly the girlfriend. And when he saw this girlfriend of driver out in front of the house, he said, "Excuse me, miss, I played it on here," and she
ran into the house.
She bolted in the house. I guarantee you, she was definitely put in the box and interviewed, interrogated pretty strongly, and I'm sure that she at least helped to spill the beans. Maybe she didn't give him up. Maybe she said his buddy so and so knows he was helping him. Let's read a little bit of the complaint. I know this is kind of boring for some of you, and let me just, before we do this, say hello to some of the folks in the chat. Nancy Eileen, love and respect. Miss Tiffy, thank you for always being here. Michael Carbone, that's our good Irish friend. Michael Carbone.
What part of Ireland is Carbone from?
Yeah.
Hey, I've asked this several times of Michael Carbone. I said, "Is he from Florida?" Mike, are you from Florida?
He's from out east, out in Suffolk County. So
is he? Oh, okay.
He's from Long Island. I have a relative. One of my second cousins is married to a Carbone, so I got to check into that.
I dated a Carbone. That's the only reason I'm asking for it. Her brother was Michael.
Oh boy. All right. Diane B, Real with Robo, is here. Tara Ellis, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Carol Loving Alaska, she's always here. Much love and respect to you guys. Hey, by a show of hands in the chat, who wants to hear us read out this? It's the Justice Court of Canal Township, and it's for the county of Lyon, state of Nevada. you guys want to hear maybe a little bit of this, I asked Ed if he would volunteer, and he
Yeah,
right away
I'll read
said,
it. I'll read it. Yeah, sure.
let's get it going, because I think this will give everyone a pretty good idea of what they're charging here. So let me get it up on the screen, and we have also joining us Rocky Pastorino in about 10 minutes. We're going to join with Rocky, and we're going to get his thoughts on what the people in Fernley are thinking about, and with these this new revelation here. And cause and manner is again shocking to us all, but just want to see what the feel is like over there in the local area. So let me just put this to the stream. I'm going to go full screen with it, Ed, so this way our folks can see it fully. And I'm going to try to see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Hold on. Can I?
Can you stretch it?
Hold on a second.
There you go. I can read it.
Okay.
I got my magnifiers on now. Okay.
I wonder if I could make it so it fits the screen.
Okay, so first it says first-degree murder with the use of a deadly weapon in violation of the NRS, and it gives you the laws. Category A felony. Okay. What?
Wait a minute.
That on about March 12th to 2022 and March 25th,
Sorry, Ed.
You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls.
I was trying to highlight it and it went away. Okay.
Okay.
What's going on here? I'm not highlighting anything.
Okay, just shrink it just a little bit, and I'll read the whole thing, or center it. Grab the center bar at the bottom and center that. Yeah, that's fine. It says again that on or between March 12th, 2022, and March 25th, 2022, in Canal Township, Lyon County, and New River Township, Churchill County, State of Nevada, the defendant did willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously kill a human being with malice aforethought, either express or implied, with premeditation and deliberation. The unlawful killing committed in the manner following, to wit: the defendant did kill Naomi Irion with a deadly weapon, namely a firearm, by shooting her, thereby inflicting mortal injuries upon the said victim, all of which occurred at or near a rural portion of northern Churchill County, Nevada. The preparatory acts of which to accomplish said crime, commencing at or near 1550 East Newlands Drive, Fernley, Nevada, and or the concealment of said crime recommencing at or near 1550 East Newlands Drive, Fernley, Nevada. Then they have the count of kidnapping in the first degree.
I believe before you go any further, I'm going to get confirmation from Rocky, but I think 1550 East Newlands Drive in Fernley is his home address. I almost want to think that, but I'll get confirmation from Rocky. Rocky, if you can hear me, Rock, let me know if that 1550 East Newlands Drive is Troy Driver's home address. He's not sure. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Let's continue.
So then they had the kidnapping charge, which was in the other county, Lyon County. But apparently I was reading about this, is that it looks like Churchill County is going to take the case and run with it. So it's not going to be divided between the two different counties involved here, where the abduction was in Lyon County. And it says that on or about March 12th, 2022, in Canal Township, Lyon County, State of Nevada, defendant did willfully seize, confine, all the legalese here, abduct, conceal, kidnap, or carry away a person by any means whatsoever with the intent to hold or detain, or holds or detain the person for ransom or reward, or for the purpose of committing sexual assault, extortion, or robbery upon or from the person, or for the purposes of killing the person, or inflicting substantial bodily harm upon the person, or to extract from the relatives, friends, or any other persons any money or valuable things for the return or disposition of the kidnapped person. To wit, the defendant did abduct Naomi and did hold or detain her and did carry her away to the location in northern Churchill County, Nevada, for the purposes of committing sexual assault and or for the purposes of killing her, all of which occurred at or near 1550 East Newlands Drive, Fernley, Lyon County, Nevada.
Right. Let's stop it right there, Ed, because I think they are covering all grounds with sexual assault here. And again, if you suffer from PTSD or any type of trauma due to sexual assault, we're going to be speaking a little bit about this here. In this paragraph right here, it definitely covers that aspect of criminal behavior, but he's not charged, at least that I could see in this complaint, with any sexual crime, correct?
Not yet, but at the autopsy, they would have done a sex examination,
Right.
and if there was evidence of that, they I would think there would be a charge of it. But they probably had to send out the kit for the rape kit for DNA.
We talked to Barbara Butcher about that with Gabby Petito, and she immediately, there was no hesitation on Barbara Butcher's part when I asked her, and it was a tough question to ask. I said, Barbara, would they do a kit on Gabby? And she said, yeah, I would.
Yeah. Let me just Google that address real quick. 1550? I'll bring it back up.
Yeah, I got it right here. It's 1550 East Newlands Drive.
1550 East Newland Drive.
Fernley, Nevada. Because
Fernley, Nevada.
But I thought he didn't.
Here's a map of 1550 East Newlands Road, Fernley, Nevada, 89408.
You know what it brings up? It brings up the Walmart.
Okay, yeah. So that's it. I know he didn't live in Fernley, so it's just coming back to me. This old man is my head is like spinning right now. But yeah, Troy Driver is not from Fernley. He's from out in the outskirts in that area. Anyways, let's get back to reading this because I think it's important that we finish this. Let me go here. Okay, so the robbery count now. Count number 3.
Count number 3, robbery in violation of a category B felony. So the first 2 are A felonies. This is a B felony, so it's a lesser felony. That are about March 12, 2022 in Canal Township, Lyon County, state of Nevada. The defendant did willfully, intentionally, and unlawfully take personal property from the person of another or in the same person's presence against his or her will by means of force or violation or violence or fear of injury immediate or future to his or her personal property in the manner following, to wit, the defendant entered Naomi's car and drove it away with her inside the car against her will, all of which occurred at or near 1550 East Newlands Drive, Fernley, Nevada.
Yeah. The 4th count is the burglary of a motor vehicle.
Yeah, it's an E felony.
Yeah.
So it's even a lesser felony. Now we're getting very close to misdemeanor here. That on about March 12, 2022 in Canal Township, Lyon County, state of Nevada, the defendant by day or night did unlawfully enter or unlawfully remain in a motor vehicle or any part thereof, namely a 1992 Mercury Sable owned and occupied by Naomi, with the intent to commit grand or petit larceny, assault or battery on any person or any felony, all of which occurred at or near 1550 East Newland Drive, Fernley, Nevada. Now, count 5 is the misdemeanor now, is destroying evidence, okay? That on or about March 12th, 2022 and March 25th, 2022 in Canal Township, Lyon County, state of Nevada, the defendant with the intent to conceal the commission of any felony or to protect or conceal the identity of any persons committing the same did willfully destroy, alter, erase, obliterate, or conceal any book, paper, record, writing, instrument, or thing in the manner following, to wit, the defendant did dispose of tires from his truck to conceal or destroy evidence of a felony and to protect or conceal his identity as the one responsible for the crimes. He did bury the body of Naomi in an attempt to conceal or destroy evidence of the kidnapping, murder, and other crimes. That he did destroy or conceal Naomi's cell phone, all of which occurred at various locations in Lyon, Churchill, Pershing, Humboldt, and Eureka County. Venue is appropriate in Lyon County because the felony crimes for which the defendant concealed or destroyed the evidence were committed in whole or in part in Lyon County.
So this also, as we're reading it, is telling me that, or is hinting to that he did have her alive and took her into those counties, and that's where the major crimes occurred.
So no, again, I guess I was wrong when I read that. So originally I thought it was Churchill County, but it appears the last sentence there said that all the venue would be appropriate for Lyon County,
Which I believe
is the Walmart, is the area where Walmart is.
Yeah. We'll get Rocky to clarify a little bit some of this stuff in a few minutes because he's standing by. So this is the end of the affidavit, and it's filed today.
Mhm.
So it was updated today. Let's see, what time was this? Does it give a time? No. April 4th. Okay, so it was updated today, and it's filed in the courts, and it's all official now. So this guy is not seeing the light of day. This also makes the judge in that initial hearing that we saw, where she offered the $750,000 bond, which amounted to $112,500. It makes them look silly because, you know, there was information that she was recovered before that hearing started. District attorney definitely let the judge know. It's not something you would hide from a judge. The night before that Wednesday, it's a week tomorrow, that hearing that they had on Wednesday for bail and bond, they knew that she was deceased. They knew that nobody else was a suspect other than Troy Driver, and she still offered that bail and that bond. That it just freaking blows my mind, Ed. It makes me just.
Thank God he couldn't raise the money.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button. I wanted to say this one.
Oh, hell no.
But she did do it, and that's something that they have to live by because, you know, for me, again, whether she was identified or not, you know, there's some people in the chat are saying, well, she wasn't identified, but, you know, come on, let's go. It was just a matter of a formality of bringing her to have the identification process done.
You know, but he was charged in that initial hearing with abduction.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So, and you don't have the victim. So why offer bail if you don't have the victim? The incentive is to keep him in jail so that he'll talk. You give him bail, he books.
What do you think he would have did if they placed an ankle monitor on him and gave him that bail? He would have either done one of two things.
Would have cut the ankle monitor off and he'd be out of there like Vladimir.
Straight down into Mexico, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or he could have, God forbid, taken his own life. And then what do we have? No justice for anybody, all around, across the board. What do you think, Ed, if we get Barbara Butcher involved here and get her to look at the actual release? They're going to have to release the autopsy results. Isn't that correct?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, again, just like in the case of the Grand Tetons, the medical examiner there, by law, could only release certain information, and he just gave the cause and manner. I think by law in most jurisdictions, that's all they really do have to release.
Right. Fremont Pathfinder sends in a super chat, and this is a pretty damn good question. I don't think we'll have the answer to it because it would just be mere speculation. Could she have been saved had the police acted sooner?
But the only way the police could have acted sooner was to have been notified of her disappearance the day she disappeared, and nobody did that until the brother did it several days later.
Yeah, he did it 2 days later. I think on Sunday he called, or Saturday night. Wait, she was Friday night, Saturday. So I think Sunday he notified the police, and then they really didn't do anything until Tuesday. So I think at this point in a conversation, you should probably bring in Rocky Pastorino. And as soon as he gives me the thumbs up, if he does, I will add him in. Rock, if you just give us the thumbs up when you're ready. All right, I got a big thumbs up from Rocky. Let's just bring him in. I want to just get a feel for what's going on in Fernley. Hey, Rock, thank you for joining. How are you, brother?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Not too bad. Ed, you know Rocky, right? Ed,
Yeah. Hey, Rock. Good to see you
How's
again.
it going, Ed? Pleasure to meet you.
I bet you it was on better circumstances.
Yeah.
Same here.
So, Rock, quickly off the bat, I want to just say thank you for you to notifying me earlier this evening. My time, it was just a little short period ago. I didn't have any knowledge of this. I didn't see it. It wasn't reported over here in the Northeast. So I'm here in New York, and you're in Nevada. So thank you for sending that to me, Rock. What's the feel on the ground there amongst the searchers and the community? You want to talk just a little bit about what people are feeling with this news today?
So I guess we're all pretty shocked, but we're not shocked. I talked to Casey. Casey sent me the news articles about the press release around 2:00, and I didn't have a chance to look at them because I was at work. And I texted him to see if he was okay, and all he said was, "Everything's all right, but I'm pretty mad that we weren't notified first." So I think that's going through all of our heads.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, like I said, I don't know if you caught early on, but Ed and I made a mention of it. Ed agreed with me that that's not just the way it should go. And common practice is you notify the family first, and then you put it out there. It's just the decent way to do things. And I'm surprised that did Casey check in with his mom? Maybe they notified the mom and his stepfather.
As far as I know, I don't think they notified anybody in the family, because I'm pretty sure Casey would have been the first person to know after Diana was.
Right. That's the mom. Well, yeah. So, I mean, this is, again, shocking news, but not surprising to seasoned law enforcement veterans like Ed and I. Most of these sick, evil monsters, they don't just grab somebody just to, bring them somewhere and, like in the movies, ask for a ransom and things of that nature. It's just, usually it doesn't go anywhere good when you go to a secondary spot with somebody or somebody leaves with you. But, these addresses, maybe you can clarify a little bit for the distance where she was recovered and where Fernley is, or where the Walmart is. Around how many miles is that, Rock?
Oh, definitely less than half a mile from where her car was found. As far as where she was found, it was quite a ways.
Right. Now, when you say quite a ways, are we talking about an hour's drive, 2 hours drive? Is it 100?
Approximately an hour and a half drive.
That's pretty far.
Hour on the main road and a half hour to 40 minutes on the dirt road.
Yeah. And we're all here speculating on potentially how or where this eventual crime occurred, because none of us really know. The only people that know is the perpetrator and Naomi, and she's not here to tell us about it. So it's up to the detectives and the forensic team to piece together. Ed, how hard of a task is that to put together where this crime happened?
Well, it is important to identify the location, and there should be evidence of that in terms of bloods that from the gunshot wounds, maybe some gunshot residue evidence. If he did it in an indoor location, or he did it in the back of the car or trunk of the car, or at the actual location where he buried her. And, it would be helpful, but at this point, I think, the investigation is proceeding as it should, and they'll figure it out eventually. As I said, there's somebody out there that gave them a tip to this location. Okay. So he either spoke to somebody or he had an accomplice. Okay. Right. Somebody knew. So there's more details to come out, and I think they'll pinpoint where he did it.
Yeah, and the thing of it is whoever this was that came forward, there needs to be nobody exposed. Like nobody, if anybody even has an idea of who this witness is, nobody should be speaking about it. Rock, this is for you. This is for Casey and for the people on the ground there. Anything and everything, even if it's speculation, nobody should be talking about it, because that person, whoever it was, he or she, whoever came forward, and whether it's more than one, plural, if it's more than one person, it should be kept close, because when it's used in a court of law, you can't have it blabbed out on Facebook Live or YouTube Lives and things of that nature. We need to have justice served for Naomi, for the Irion family. We need to get this monster put away. And we know that Nevada hasn't put anybody to death in a long time. That's not happening in that state. But to let this guy rot in his cage for the rest of his pathetic life, that's what we need to happen here. And nobody should be wanting to, in the means of getting out personal interest or somebody's curiosity, putting out information that is instrumental in putting this guy away. So I can't overemphasize the importance of, if anybody even has an inkling or knows of something, just the only people that you should be talking to is the investigators, and it shouldn't be on TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, whatever the frick. Mouths should just be glued shut in regards to that. And I know, Rocky, you're on board with that. And I'm not saying this to preach to you. I'm saying it because we got a pretty big reach here and a lot of people watch us. So that's the best thing. Ed, I know you concur with me on that.
Absolutely. And Rocky, if you don't mind, I have a question. I know you conversed with Casey. Did Casey ever inform you that he notified law enforcement on Sunday and they didn't act immediately upon his notification?
As far as I know, he did. He had to go to Walmart and get the footage from Walmart just to see if his sister had made it on the Panasonic bus or not. And I guess once he saw the video, it showed a lot more than he anticipated, and he had taken it to the police. And from there, I'm not exactly sure or necessarily at liberty to say.
Okay.
But it was a short while after that when they started to realize that this was a real deal.
Okay, thank you. So there was a lag in time, is what I'm hearing now, from the time she was abducted to the time that the law enforcement got the wheels rolling.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Ed. The camera, I didn't turn on my external power, and the battery died on my camera. So I'm back. Yes. So I personally heard Casey speak about this, that he went to the Walmart this was on a news report on Monday, and got the video, saw it for himself, and then notified, and that's how it started. But again, justice is what we need right now. Everything else, all of these different little doodads and knickknacks and inner pieces of what happened and how the police responded is going to be, there'll be a time and place to speak about it. Now is the time and place.
No, they're going to track his movements. They're going to figure out from the day she was abducted to the day he was arrested, what he did in between all those days.
Yeah.
They got to account for all those movements.
Right. And again, that takes time for them to compile all of that evidence, and is going to be the late model vehicle that he used is going to have all of that information that we talked about.
And his cell phone.
And all of the different, I know in the middle of the desert, they don't have DOT cameras, but you never know. There might be one at every 20 miles or something like that with a satellite kind of, solar powered and whatnot. So it could be a chance that he was picked up in some of his movements, and that'll all be part of the case. And that's really important here. But what happened today with the release on the Churchill Sheriff's Facebook page, and KOLO 8 and a couple of other news reports that were out there, it was just they just trickled out there. To me, was significant, and charges upgraded as they should be. And this guy should never be able to see the light of day upon conviction, upon a guilty verdict. He'll never see the light of day, and he shouldn't.
You would think there would have been a press conference.
Yeah, it's freaking me out. Nothing local there on the 6 o'clock. What time is it there now, Rock?
It's 6:20 now.
So something should have came over at 6 o'clock news, I would imagine.
I'm sure it did, but I haven't had a chance to see any of it. And just the fact that they released it without it coming out at a press conference. They do things a lot different here. But also, it's a small town, small county, and they don't see this kind of thing on an everyday basis. So I think they're still learning how to handle something like this.
Is it not getting much publicity out there? I mean, I know you have a
Oh,
small.
there's publicity all over the place. It's on every Facebook page. It's on every news channel every day. It's just, they've only had 2 press conferences from the sheriff himself.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
So-
the sheriff is an elected official.
Yeah, and he and in the county where she was recovered from, the sheriff is the coroner.
And we're gonna definitely work really hard on keeping him accountable for it too.
Yeah. Little 3 Miss T says, yeah, our sheriff did not do a press conference. So she must be a local over there watching us on YouTube. So thank you for that information. I was just curious if it was the top news on at 6 o'clock, because you would think that a smaller community like this would be breaking news. But this KOLO8 News Now looks like a local. Where is it? What does it say? It's from Reno, maybe?
Yeah, it's a local station out of Reno.
Yeah.
And she does say she's local.
Yeah. So just I'm never completely shocked, but they did do these press conferences. Rocky, I talked to you. There was one inside the sheriff's office, right? The press conference with the TV and all that in the beginning.
Yes, sir.
The detective was there and the whole family was there. And then there was one outside the courthouse. I don't know if that's attached to the sheriff's department. Sometimes
That was actually, that was outside the substation here in Fernley.
right. Amazing. I mean, I would have liked to have, I did sent a message out to Casey, but listen, this is a tough time for them. And it's like, I almost feel guilty even reaching out to him, but Rocky were like, oh, go ahead, shoot him a message. So I shot him a message, but I'm more concerned about sending them prayers and strength and positive vibes than this stuff. This for me, I thought it was important for the listening audience and everybody who is following this case, who really loves and cares about this family, to know that this is where we're at. It's significant that we've learned today that he shot her in the head and shot her in the chest and killed her, which is horrific. I hate even to say it, but it is what it is. And Rocky, I know you were deeply invested in this thing, and what you shared with us on our last live stream, I felt compelled to invite you to come on here tonight, just to give the worldwide audience a little bit of a view of what the feel is like there. And I think you said it pretty well.
And I appreciate you having me on again. And I did talk to Casey before I did this show tonight with you, and I wanted to make sure everything was on the up and up with him. Yeah. And that I wasn't crossing any bounds by doing this. So
yeah,
he said everything's good.
And Casey knows that if he needs help from us, that he can pick up the phone and or email us or talk to Ron, call me, and we'll help him whatever he needs to, whatever questions he has with what's going to happen next in the investigations, or what forensic evidence means, or whatever the case may be. That he's more than contact us anytime.
Right. Yeah. And that's.
I will definitely let him know if he's not watching this. He said he was going to sit down and have a scotch and hang out with his uncle tonight, and he's just kind of trying to relax as best he can. But he's pretty upset because of how he found out, which I would be too. So I don't really blame him at all.
Amen, Twila.
Yep, it's his sister, and it's rightfully so. I mean, this is his family. This is his blood. Again, we have to trust what he's saying, and basically what he's saying is he found out by watching the news or seeing it on Facebook, and to me, that's not cool. I'm not good with that. But again, each department does things differently, and tonight we wanted to talk about the cause and manner, and we have the cause and manner of Naomi's death, unfortunately, by gunshot. 2 times, 2 different locations. We don't know how many times. Again, Ed, you said right away when I started to talk to you privately about this, you said, we need to see that full, if it's available, the autopsy or a press conference comes out from the coroner. we don't know if that'll happen, you know.
No, I mean, listen, everything is pre-trial, so they're going to hold their cards close to the vest, just like they did in the Gabby Petito autopsy. You know, we only got the a lot more detail after Brian was identified and the case was closed. Right. This one still has to go to trial, so I doubt they're going to release all that information. But I do suspect she was bound. In order for him to control her, I'm pretty confident that she would have been bound in some way, ankles, wrists, things of that nature, and there'll be evidence of that as well. And depending on what he used, there should be able to locate the evidence. I'm sure warrants are at the house, place of business, to see if they can locate any evidence that could have been used by him for this crime
or left behind.
That's correct.
Yeah, you know, no criminal is completely clean about everything that he does, he or she does, and we know that through experience. There's so much stuff that can be extracted after the fact. You know, we talked about the luminol type stuff, and you said it's not commonly used anymore. It's a different terminology, different product, but there's different kinds of techniques that are used to find different kinds of evidence.
And he altered the crime scene. He altered the vehicle. He did it purposely to cover up the crime.
What a scumbag, man.
Oh. He definitely took a lot more steps this time than he did the first time.
There you go, Rocky. You know, the criminals, when they go to do time, they get educated in there.
Yeah, a lot of
that was our biggest worry, but he still slipped up. And I'm really thankful that the community was so on this, because I think that pushed the investigators to really figure out what was going on and not just sweep it away and move on, you know.
Yeah, thank God Walmart security cameras doesn't overwrite their videos very quickly. And, you know, that was still there for them to gather.
Right.
I'm happy they were able to give it to, or was willing to give it to Casey, because had Casey not gotten that, who knew where this would have gone?
I mean, that was huge, huge.
That started the whole ball rolling of everything, because he was able to see exactly what happened and then, you know, call whatever 911 or dispatch, however they do it there, I don't know, but to make that notification, and then now the ball is in the police department's court. However they acted on it, it's really, to me right now, I can't even think about that. I wouldn't even be thinking about it. All I'm thinking about is justice for Naomi, and there's going to be time to revisit this and circle back on it. And find out and get accountability of the steps that were taken or the steps that weren't taken. And again, right now is the time to, you know, make sure that the sheriffs and the police departments, the investigators, the FBI, thank God the FBI is involved in it, because it's going to ensure that all the evidence is secured and analyzed and processed. Ed, you want to talk about the importance of processing evidence and how that plays out in a trial?
Absolutely. You have to dot your I's and cross your T. You have to have documentation. If you didn't write it down, it didn't happen. You have to be able to prove all the steps that you did. You have to follow your protocols. And if you deviate from a protocol, you have to write down why you deviated from the protocol. You have to have your photographic documentation, your written notes, sketches. All of that has to be done together. You can't do one without the other. And then you have to do the individual pieces of evidence. Each one has to be logged in. The type of evidence described, you know, it's a full description. It's morphology, size, shape, color, manner, and the type of evidence it is. And then it has to be sent to the laboratory for appropriate analysis. You need the appropriate chain of custody. And you want to limit the number of people that touch this evidence. So, because the more links in a chain, the weaker the chain becomes. So the people that collect it, then, you know, maybe one person that you can hand it off to, or they bring it back to the lab themselves and hand it off to the intake at the lab and let the lab intake it and then send it on to an analyst to perform whatever forensic analysis needs to be conducted.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of work that's involved in it, and it's important that it's processed the right way. Helen Girl says, do we know why she moved into the passenger seat from the driver's seat? This is going to be a question from me and Ed, and we have to assume that he told her scoot over. He might have showed a weapon. He may have not showed a weapon. He may have threatened, if you don't move over, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It was not done it was done against her will, and she slid over because she had to. So that's the best answer. That's the short answer that I can give you. We don't know 100% why. Nothing But Love sends in $100 super chat, and she says, to Dutyron and Ed Wallace, I can't thank you enough for all that you do. This takes your personal time away from your family and your friends to share with us your knowledge. I'm so very thankful for this channel and to both of you. My cup runneth over.
Okay,
Denise,
get a bounty towel out quick.
yeah, Denise, that is an awesome statement.
Thank you.
I might have to frame that and put it in Ed Wallace's office. But yes, thank you so much for acknowledging that. Much appreciated, and thank you for your generosity. Denise is awesome. Again, Rocky, so for those joining, some people don't know, are you related to Naomi or related to the family? How did you become part of this search team? Rocky searched vigorously for quite a bit, boots on the ground in his hometown and surrounding areas. Could you just give the audience just a little bit of how you got into this and what's your relation to the family?
So not related, well, by blood, but I'm definitely part of the family now. They've definitely accepted me in all sorts of different ways, and I can't thank them enough for everything that they've done. As far as getting into the search, I learned a lot the first 2 weeks. And fortunately, but unfortunately, we couldn't go a third week. But I definitely learned a lot, and the community really made it happen. I just decided nobody else wanted to do anything, so I made a decision, and come hell or high water, we were going to find Naomi, and there was nothing they were going to start with.
How did you find out about the case?
Well, word spreads quick, like wildfire through a small town.
Yeah.
And, one thing led to another, and I'd seen it on Facebook, and then I started following it, and then nobody else wanted to do anything, and everybody says, well, let's leave it to the investigators, but they weren't finding anything quick enough, and we all know how missing cases usually end up, unfortunately, and time is of the essence. So I decided to throw something together, and we made it happen.
You did an awesome job of it, and I followed it closely, and so is Ed. Jamie Johnson, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. And also quickly, another one came in. Let me just make sure I get that. TCE sends in a $5 super chat, and she says, please teach on the importance of never going to the second, parentheses, kill location. Yeah, Ed and I have spoken about this to a blue in the face, that never, ever, ever get or go with somebody to a secondary location. Do whatever you have to do, because 99.9999% of the time, if you do that, it's not going to end well for you if you submit to that. Ed, I know you got something to say.
Yeah, there's a school of thought with these things, and it's called run, hide, fight. In this case, she couldn't run at that point, or maybe, I think she was overcome with fear. I don't know if he presented the firearm, but that's a distinct possibility. And so her instincts were not to run, and if that was in fact the case. But I believe in fight, fight, fight. Let them run, hide, and fight. I'm one of those rare police officers that had gotten into a gun battle. Most cops go their whole career and never pull that trigger. Unfortunately, I wasn't lucky enough to be one of those, and I just walked into a situation that I had to defend myself with that gun. But everybody needs situational awareness. We gotta keep our heads on a swivel. Watch your six. Don't bury your head in that phone. Don't be distracted in your surroundings. Especially, when it's early in the morning and dark, and you're in a secluded area by yourself, waiting for a shuttle bus or anything like that. You have to understand where you are at all times, and you have to be prepared to defend yourself. Okay.
Situational awareness. We talk about it all the time. Yep. Well said. Hey, Kim Marie sends in a super chat, Ed, and this is to you. Tires and rims switched? Question mark. Is this why we saw photos with different rims? Question mark.
Could be.
We definitely know the
It's
tires.
all going to come out in the trial.
We definitely know the tires were switched. That's a fact. It's in the affidavit that we showed here.
And remember, he had 2 trucks that were impounded. One was his work truck and one was his personal truck.
Mhm.
And they were almost identical, just different colors.
Yep.
There we go. Yep.
Mhm.
All late model vehicles, which in fact we know has the GPS and the ECM chip, where it could be, the movement can be tracked. So yeah, some great questions in the chat. I'm going to get to some of the questions in a few minutes. Real with Robo sends in a $5 super chat, and we found out just about a month ago that she is a she and not a he. I was calling Real with Robo a guy. Now she's sending in my hubby, who is a Marine. Hoorah!
Mhm.
Says consulates teach the children not to fight because they're worth more alive.
Yeah.
She was used to having security. So sad and innocent. It's a
Right.
possibility. We don't know what they taught her, and that's a general statement. But
But in general, she's right, because each embassy has a Marine security detail, and because I travel to all these embassies in my work for the State Department and the Defense Department, and so they are provided security. You have the diplomatic security service of the State Department there, and the regional security office of the RSO, and the RSO has like our dignitary protection detail, like the mayor has. So all of these high-ranking officials have a security detail assigned to them. They have armored vehicles, and so they're taught a little differently. And most of these people live on protected compounds and so forth. But there are
Naomi's mom made mention of it on a press conference. She talked a bit in detail about that. And she said one of the reasons why her daughter came back here to America in August to live with her brother is because she wanted to have more freedom. And that's Rocky, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I remember listening to from Naomi's mom. It didn't end well, as we know now, but she came here to be have a little bit more flexibility and freedom. So that, that's the situation. Dr. Ed Moskowitz, Pocatello, Idaho, him and his wife, Julie, registered nurse, platinum professional perseverance. That's 3 to the squared power. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dutyron, Ed Wallace, and Rocky. Caring, kind, and lost is never alone. I know that's what was meant there. I'd have to say that's a combination of Dr. Ed and his wife together. She might have been poking him and saying, "No, Ed, say this, say that." So it's both of them together. Thank you for the $50 super chat and that wonderful message. Alicia B says, pepper sprays, tactical pen, and know what is around you. Watch, listen, and pay attention.
Absolutely.
I talk about peripheral vision, Ed, and we learned this in the academy when we would go to the range and do our tactics, where when we had the little wheel guns and the revolvers, look up and load. We had those officers that were shot and killed behind a car, execution style, loading their revolvers, and we got the speed loaders, and they always say, do not bury your head in your gun. Same situation with a tablet, a phone, a computer, a laptop. You cannot bury your head in any device.
If you're going to rely on some kind of weapon system, whether it's a firearm, it's a pepper spray, or a tactical pen, you have to train with it. Okay. And you have to have it accessible, and you have to know how to get to it, and you have to practice these things. How do I get it out of my bag? Where am I keeping it? How do I get to it quick and deploy it?
Yeah.
And all of this is training, and you're developing muscle memory. If you're going to be, carrying a firearm, or you're going to be using any of these other types of weapon systems, you get a professional to train you how to use it, and you drill, and you drill, and you drill. Until it becomes instinct. Okay. And shooting at paper targets is fun, and it's all well and good. It'll give you some level of proficiency with the firearm, but it's not the same thing as a combat shooting course. Okay. You have to understand the stresses that are involved in these types of things, and you have to train to that level. You don't shoot paper targets, don't shoot back. Paper targets don't fight you.
Right.
Okay, you want to take martial arts. You want to take, and if you're going to take a martial art, I would recommend a jiu-jitsu, because inevitably fights end up on the ground, and so you have to know how to grapple. All right. Again, remember, run, hide, fight. Run, hide, fight. Okay. Though that's for the average citizen. Me, I choose fight, fight, fight. Let them run, hide, fight from me.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm bringing the fight to them. I'm not going out that way.
Great points there, Ed. And be proficient with your firearm. Be proficient with whatever weapon. If you have mace, know how to use it. Don't just buy it, put it in your purse. Make sure you practice with it. Make sure you use your weak hand. Because if you're a righty and your hand is injured, or you get shot, you get stabbed, you get an injury, you got to switch to your weak side, and vice versa. So
you have to have that mindset of survival.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't get feared into submission. You have to have a mindset of survival, because if you don't, the littlest things are going to get you killed.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was a question on the screen. I want to put that up there. Sugar plum, where did it go? I hate when I do that. It was a good question, and I had it up there, and now it's gone. Well, I'm going to find it.
You're not looking at even a pencil can be a weapon, right? Referencing John Wick. Okay. Yes, it's true though. It is true. Listen, you find yourself in an environment where you have no weapons, like the interior of an airplane. What could you use to defend yourself against? Well, you could take a magazine out of the seat pocket and roll it up, and then get it nice and tight. And now you could use it. There's any number of things. You have to always be looking to improvise and adapt and overcome to the situation you find yourself in.
Yeah. Look at this comment from Laura Croft. At Rocky, we're all praying for someone to go do what you did. So she's probably has a case by her area that somebody needs assistance. So they're saying, at Rocky, we're all praying for someone to go do what you did. So that's just kudos to you, Rocky, on what you did for this family and what you did in the name of your dad as well. You went out there and you took care of business, and I commend you for it. I'm tipping my cap again to Rocky. I can't do that enough, because he's awesome. He's now a new brother for me. I'll do anything that I can to help Rocky. The question that I was trying to find was a female was asking, do we think this was premeditated or a crime of chance? What's your thoughts on that, Ed?
He's a predator. He was on the prowl that night. Okay. And he found an opportunity that night for a victim.
I agree.
And again, as I said, this is not the first time he's done this. Okay. It's something that's in him. All right. It's something that he has a need to do from time to time. You just don't wake up one day and say, I'm going to go out and do this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm telling you, there are unsolved cases around wherever this guy's been, and he's probably associated with them.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would put my pension on it. That is probably a high probability. And I think that Walmart, and I'm not saying that this is fact, but I think Walmart has this guy on video. If they can go back a couple of weeks or a month, that wasn't his first stroll through Walmart. I have a feeling that he scoped it out, saw her on a different occasion, and went back and returned to do what he did.
Or maybe not her, but he might have been in Walmart several times looking for another opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not the only one taking that shuttle. I would imagine it's a big company. There had to be at least numerous people that take that shuttle from that location.
And look at where he lives to where the Walmart is. What is he doing there at 5:20 in the morning? Is he on his way to work? What is he doing?
Yeah,
exactly. He's like 20. He lives 20 miles away or so. And allegedly, I saw a video about, I don't know, I'd say it was filmed a month prior to this happening to Naomi, and he was strolling through the parking lot, and this person actually got video of somebody that looks pretty close to him. Wow. But it was through tinted windows, so I can't say that, but allegedly there was video of him and other things.
Well, you get that video to the FBI and let them enhance it in the lab and see if they can do a facial recognition match.
Easy for them to do. Rocky, you're sounding like a detective yourself. You're using the allegedly word. I like it.
We're going to have to send them a shield.
we're gonna
Man, I'm gonna have to come to you guys and take some lessons.
we
Hey,
got
I've been out your neck of the woods training in those two counties. So I trained many members of the sheriff's office out there and the Reno Police Department.
wow.
That's crazy.
Robin Roach sends in a comment and she says, why didn't they have a guard since their people were catching the bus to go to work? They didn't. And we don't know the answer to that question. It's not, I don't think it's Walmart's responsibility to have a guard to guard someone that's waiting to take a shuttle. I think that they probably authorized the shuttle, the parking lot to be used for the shuttle as probably a courtesy. But Walmart's a big, huge, multi-billion-dollar corporation. I'm sure that their legal looked into all the legality of it. And I don't see, they're not Walmart employees. These are people who are going for Panasonic.
Yeah.
So maybe Panasonic should have hired security, but that's not commonly done. It's, you know, it's just, it's a good question though. Thank you for asking that. I'm just trying to look at the chat a little bit. Yeah.
Real with Robo, who has their own armed guards? You know, she posted something, and I'm just trying to clarify what she's saying.
Yeah, at Ed Wallace, they have their own armed guards. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Are you talking about the diplomats, or are you talking about the? So anyhow, another tragic case, folks. Walmart. She's saying at Walmart. Yes. Well. Some do, some don't. I don't see many armed guards at Walmarts in my neck of the woods, but in some of the other jurisdictions, yes, that is definitely a possibility.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have to stop the chat because we have a celebrity in the chat. Her name is Twila Cisco. She's the search coordinator for EquiSearch Midwest. She's a good friend of mine. I love her. I think she's one of the most fantastic women out there doing God's work. She's all of 90 pounds soaking wet. I'm probably giving her a couple of pounds, and she's a ball of fire. Twila is a Southern belle from Alabama, Tennessee. It depends on the day of the week. She could be in Alabama, she could be in Tennessee, but she's a Southern belle, and I love her. She is freaking awesome. So Twila, thank you for being here. She says, Rocky, great job for doing what you did, sir. Timing is everything. Lost is not alone. That is the saying of EquiSearch. I'm going to show you the wristband that I have here. And Rocky, you're going to, this is, I'm going to get one of these to you, Rock. You got to give me your address. Not here, but offline. Don't give me your address here. Let me go full screen with this so Rocky could see it. Lost is not alone. Cancel that. And full screen for DutyRon. So there's the saying for EquiSearch, lost is not alone. That's for the missing. So they search for the missing. And EquiSearch Midwest, there's Twila. She is the search coordinator. And you could learn a lot from her. I'll put you in touch with her. She told me to give you her number. So I'll get you her info and you guys can yuck it up.
And
That would be
Ron,
fantastic.
good stuff. Ron, Sharon asked a question about sexual assault.
You can highlight it when you see it. You can highlight it.
There's nothing in the charging documents that charges a sex crime. They talk about that as part of the abduction reasons and so forth that they could be, but there's nothing there yet. That's not to say that it didn't happen. We may be waiting on autopsy results of the sex kit, as we call it, or the rape kit, and waiting for that to come back. And if there is signs of that, then the charges will be amended.
And I feel that they covered the grounds in that in the document, in the filing in the court today. They covered all of those possibilities. So if that rape kit comes back, and Barbara Butcher, retired New York City medical examiner's chief of staff, who has a tremendous amount of experience, I had asked her outright about how long that kit takes, and she said up to a month. Remember that, Ed?
Yeah, they typically have to send those out.
Yeah.
But you know, the medical examiner's lab in New York City does the DNA portions, and there's the hair and fiber portion, and so forth and so on. I mean, there's so many different things to the kit that has to be analyzed.
Right.
Oh.
Do you have any questions for me and Ed, or do you have anything that maybe you want to share with an audience? There's over 1,000 people watching on this live stream right now, Rock.
So I do have a question. You know, you guys were talking about fight, fight, fight. But what if you're caught off guard and you're just caught by surprise and you freeze? What do you do then?
Well, it's obvious. You know, if you're caught off guard, you freeze. And then you have to look for an opportune time. Once you get shaken out of that temporary paralysis, and you have to then get into that mode of survival, and then you have to wait for an opportune time to fight back or to run or to hide. You know, I mean, yeah, I get it. No doubt. I mean, I get it. I see it. I've seen it time and time again. Hey, I'll give you a perfect example. I worked a quadruple homicide. 5 women were rounded up by a perpetrator in their apartment and placed in one bedroom. And one by one, he took the women out, sexually assaulted them, and killed them. He was armed with a gun and a hammer and a knife. And these women that were in that bedroom were in such fear for their lives that they were so traumatized. They had a gun in that room and they didn't use it. It was open. It was open to them. It was in a dresser drawer. The occupant of that bedroom, it was her gun, and it was there. And we found the gun, and we're like, well, why didn't they use this on this guy? Because he would take them out one by one from the room and lock the door and leave the others behind while he would sexually assault and murder one victim at a time. And I couldn't understand when I found that gun, why they were so afraid to grab that gun. And then the next time you walk through that door, do what needed to get done. But some people just freeze. And again, it's all about training. It's one thing to have a gun. It's one thing to be trained, to be proficient in shooting at a paper target, but it's not the same as being trained to use a weapon in combat. Okay. You have to train on these things. You have to develop that muscle memory. You have to have that mindset that you're going to fight. So I've seen it. I don't understand. And there's a whole, psychological studies on these things and why it occurs, why people freeze like that, and so forth. But the good and the end of the story was that the perpetrator was convicted of all charges and spent life in prison.
Thank God for that. Hey, I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell a story that will blow everybody's mind. We had midnight patrol. We had a shooting go on. The perpetrators were shooting at each other. We responded to a call for shots fired. I won't mention his name, but one of our own sergeants responded to the scene and froze. He froze up. We're volleying shots back at these perpetrators in an open housing project area, and he was hiding behind a car and just froze. He had a panic attack. Mm-hmm. So that's a trained police officer. And again, it can happen to the best. If you do not tactically train for these type of, we used to go into the fun house. Remember that, Ed?
Yeah, the fun house. Yeah.
So it was the fun house. It was an actual street with a house.
People may refer to it as Hogan's Alley.
Right. Yeah, there you go. So you'd go into it and there would be buildings and there'd be people that were acting as criminals with, not live ammunition. And you'd go in there and you'd be in a situation where you either have to shoot or not shoot. And it was for me going through that as a rookie in training, and even with the experience when we would go into that simulator, it was stressful. And that's not even a live gunfight, So again, we can't second guess. We can't say shoulda, coulda, woulda. In Naomi's case, she was a young girl, 18 years old.
18 years old.
She's never in combat.
She's let's be honest. Not everybody has street smarts.
Right.
Okay, and they've been sheltered. Okay, and they they live the life of a diplomat. Overseas with security, walled fences, armed Marines, diplomatic security service personnel, dignitary details, armored vehicles. It's right. another thing in she's never experienced living here like this.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing for anybody to be in, and no matter who you are, and no matter how much training you have, when you're startled or somebody comes up on you. I've had it happen to me even in the spot where I do my live streaming. You guys always see me looking around, right? Doing this, looking around. Somebody came up while I was on and knocked on my window.
Mm-hmm.
And just asked me for directions while I was live, and I jumped. I got startled. My wife one time came down here into my office to bring me some food on a Saturday while I was live, and she just touched my arm, and I jumped out of my seat. I have it on a live.
Listen, I've had the same kind of situation where people just try to come up on you and scare you and spook you, and I can't tell you how many of my friends I put on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't just walk up to somebody like that and expect it to go well for you.
Exactly. Hey, quickly, I want to just remind everybody, if you're new here, just please let us know by saying new in the chat. If you have just stumbled across this live stream, we'd like to know about it. If you're new, and welcome, we would like to welcome you to Crime Time with DutyRon. If you can, please, everyone here that's listening and hanging out with us and signed in to the YouTube app, take a moment to give it a thumbs up, share the video, save it, like it. Get the message out there, because as much valid information as we can get out there in Naomi's case, the better, more informed the general public will be about the process and how this goes. And I think tonight, Ed and I have accomplished giving you guys a good insight into the cause and manner and where we're going to go from here. And, the next step is, taking this thing to trial and moving forward with this case and getting charges upgraded and whatnot. As more evidence comes in, and we've covered that in this hour and 21 minutes here. Twila, I sent you the link, but we're not sure if she has Wi-Fi capabilities, and that's the problem with Twila, is she's in the middle of the country and she doesn't have such great Wi-Fi. But I did send her the invite if she wanted to come in. I'm just going to check the chat really quick. Diane Marie says, "Good to see you again, Rocky." So she was on the first chat where Rocky was here, and she's saying, "Good to see you." Barbara Mooney is new, and thank you. Welcome to the Crime Time with DutyRon family. We appreciate you being here. Amelia, who is always in on the chat, she says it's a shame that we have to live in paranoid state of mind. We don't have to live in a paranoid state of mind, but you need to be hypersensitive and hyper aware of what your surroundings are at all times. I don't care if you live in the middle of nowhere. I don't care if you live in an inner city or in the suburbs. You need to know who's around you at all times. I don't take my garbage out without me knowing who's around. I take a peek out my front door. I look around to see who's there, and then I proceed out. But I do have a Glock strapped onto me with 16 rounds of hollow point ammunition, and I'm ready to go at any time. And I don't cut my grass without that on my hip.
Couple of points I want to make, if I can, Ron. Rose asks, she's in a wheelchair. How can she defend herself? Rose, there are plenty of classes for special needs people and handicapped people that teach self-defense, and it's all upper body work. And so you can get trained to protect yourself. And then there are other options. There are weapon systems and tasers and pepper spray and things of that nature that you could deploy. Right. But again, it requires training. And as for Real with Robo, Twila, your mic's on. I was on a movie set, and I was setting up crime scenes for the movie set. And I was wearing a suit, but I took my jacket off because it was hot at the movie set. And my gun is in a holster on my right hip. And I'm not going to say any names, but a famous movie actor came up behind me and put his hand on my gun, thinking it was a prop. What? And I was an extra. Oh, and I immediately went into a defensive posture, and I rolled him to the ground. No, I didn't pull the gun, but I put his arm into an arm bar and his wrist into a lock, and I could have potentially broke his wrist. Wow. But I did it so fast that he didn't know what hit him. Wow. And then I said, "What are you, out of your mind?" He goes, I take it that's real, and you're not an actor? I said, "Yeah, I'm on the set because I'm a technical advisor." Yeah.
That's crazy. You don't do stupid stuff like that, and some people don't realize it. Hey, before we lose her, Twila is in the waiting room, and I think maybe she's just going to be audio only, which is fine. So as soon as she unmutes her mic, I'm going to add her.
Uh-oh.
She is the director of. She's the search coordinator of EquiSearch Midwest, and guess what? We have Dave Rader, the director of EquiSearch Midwest, joining us. Holy crap. There he is, Dave Rader and Twila. We have
what you gonna do when Dave Rose rides?
Hey, Rocky, I just wanted to come in and personally tell you from my heart, my team's heart, my director's heart, that what you did was absolutely amazing. And it takes a lot of courage to step up and do something like that. And I just want you to know that there's many people out in this world that's very proud of you. And me and my director is some of those people, as well as Dutyron and Mr. Ed, because Dutyron was talking to me the other day about you, and he had nothing but good things to say. And I just want to, if I could reach to the phone and hug you and pat you on your back, I just want to tell you great job for everything that you did.
Well, thank you so much. That means I don't even know what to say. I really don't. Thank you.
It's a high compliment.
Yeah.
Yes, very.
And Dave
And you're a part of our search family now too. And like Dutyron says, you're a part of us now. You're a part of Dutyron's family, and you're our friend now. You know, and we're always here if you'd like to talk or need any suggestions or anything about doing searches. But be very, very proud of yourself, sir, because what you did was a big, huge responsibility, and her family will be forever grateful for you.
It just goes to show you that volunteerism in the United States is alive and well.
We have Dave Rader here, who's the operations director of EquiSearch Midwest. This is a great honor that you've taken out the time to come on and say hello to not only the audience, but just maybe to say something to Rocky. Thank you, Dave, for joining.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks again for sending me the link. And sorry, I'm a little late to the show, but Rocky, from what I understand, you did one hell of a job looking for Naomi, correct?
I tried. The community did a fantastic job. They're the ones that made this happen, and I could not be more grateful to be part of such a good community.
You know, you only share a little bit of what we go through on a daily basis, and again, now you understand what it takes to sit there and put something like this on, and the amount of time it takes. You know, it's just incredible. But again, that's how we get success, and that's how we strive is people like you that go out there and take the bull by the horns and try to do the best you can. You know, that's you know, as my favorite saying is now is that we didn't create the scenario, we're trying to rectify it, and you understand now what I mean by that.
Your guys' job is terribly stressful, but I know that if we ever have to go through this, I'll have name tags, we'll have badges, I mean, I've learned so much. I'm going to have a tote, and we'll be ready the next time. And we'll be a lot more organized too.
You know, the thing is that if there's anything that we could ever do as an organization to help you to become more organized, and please reach out to me or Twila, and we can kind of give you all the information that you would ever need to make that happen. And there's a lot to it behind the scenes, and we would be honored to sit down with you and teach you and pick our brains and you know, have you a part of this.
Hey Dave, is there a West Coast EquiSearch?
There is not.
Can we start a franchise?
We can, you know, I do have a lot of members, and how we do this is that it's not like a full-fledged on team, but what we like to do is to gather these resources, so when we do have something that's a little bit, again, we think that time is everything. So if we would have a multitude of people in every single state that could sit there and be found and get into this at a moment's notice. That's what makes the difference in the world is to be prepared for the next one. It's not if it happens, it's when it's going to happen.
Okay, you got to sign Rocky up then.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep, Rocky, I can get you signed up, Rocky, and it would be an honor to have you, even if you wanted and was capable of coming to, be mine or Dave's shadow on a search. But let me tell you, with you and that community, what you did, sir, was you took that step. That is a very, very important step that people want to do, but they can't do it because they're afraid. And you fought that fear and you stepped up and your heart told you to go do something. You followed your heart and you went and did what you had to do. And not every search is going to be the same. Some of them is going to be crazy. Some of them is going to be not organized. But what's important is you're there and you gave your effort and you took that step to get there and make it happen.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, Rocky.
Thank you all so much.
These are the professionals. This is the real deal. EquiSearch, has been involved in so many searches for the missing, and Dave and Twila, they work tirelessly throughout the year, getting phone calls daily, numerous phone calls on different cases, and the amount of work that these folks have done. And this is what I was telling you about, Rocky. We fundraise for them. We stand behind them. Ed and I help bridge the gap between law enforcement and EquiSearch, and we help to be liaisons for communication through law enforcement, and it makes the whole thing run real smooth. So it's
Rocky, I hope I don't lose you. That's why I spoke in between DutyRon. But I'm gonna even try to go an extra step and talk to Dave, and I'm sure he'd be glad to do it, to see if you can give DutyRon your address so that he can get it to us, and maybe Dave can send you a hat or something for taking that step, because you deserve it. That hat right there that Ed has.
Yeah, not like this one. This one's got his autograph on it.
I'll sign Rocky's for him. I'll sign Rocky's for him.
Oh no, you got to put some
Sure
you got to put some lipstick on it and kiss it.
Bright red, whatever color he prefers. But I'm sure Dave would be glad to get you a hat, sir, or maybe even a shirt if we don't have any hats. And I know DutyRon will most definitely get you a bracelet. You deserve it, sir.
Absolutely.
The least you could do.
What do you think, Rock? Rock, what do you think?
Are you crying?
No, okay.
Oh, don't cry. Don't cry, buddy. But I'm right there beside you. Just pretend that I'm there and I'm wiping your tears. But I am going to make sure our organization gets you a hat or a shirt.
You're a good man, Rocky.
Yeah, he's got.
Thank you so much. I never anticipated this. Like my girlfriend said, I saw a spot and it needed to be filled, and I filled it. And
yeah,
absolutely, you did. You did.
Hey, Rocky,
you're one of her angels.
Yes, absolutely. And your dad's looking down on you and he's very proud. So all of us here at the Crime Time with Dutyron family, we need 100 more Rockies. We need 1,000 more. We need 1 million more Rockies out there.
Absolutely.
The way you rallied the troops in Fernley, it was like nothing I've ever seen before. And, the way you described it, somebody here in the chat just asked Rocky, how many folks came out on these given searches when you started? What was some of the bigger numbers that you saw, and how did this all unfold? People want to know.
The first search that we did, we had ATVs, we had horses, we had people on foot, we had people on every kind of mechanical or flesh-ridden thing that you could have. And I think that we had between 450 and around 700 people show up at the very first search.
Wow.
Holy.
Wow. You're the hero, sir. And everything that you just mentioned is exactly how me and Dave run our searches. Horses, ATVs, foot search, anything we could possibly think of. And never forget, you are the hero for making that first step. You are.
Thank you very much. And I really hope, I'm going to join the Lyon County Search and Rescue Team, and hopefully they accept me. And then I really want to get into training and move forward with all of this and make this kind of like a lifelong goal. This has changed my life in every way that I could even imagine. And for this to be happening is just stunning. I don't even have words. I'm shaking right now. I'm so.
Yeah, it's a good
just-
thing, Rocky. It's a good thing. This is God's will. You know,
Yeah.
he put us on this earth to do good things, and now he's got you, and he's putting you in the right direction.
So here's one of our great friends, Jill. She's knitting me and you a Dutyron blanket. We'll get to use it next winter. But Jill Fiberfloozy's Crafts sends in a $5 super chat, and she says, I'll buy Rocky a wristband. I'll do it after the live. And you know what? Jill's going to do that. She's going to buy a wristband for you. You don't have to do that because we're going to give it to him for free. But if you want to donate to EquiSearch, then you can donate, because that money that comes in, we're going to pass it right straight along to the people who search for the missing. And that's these two great people right here, Dave Rader and Twila Cisco, and the whole team at EquiSearch Midwest. I can't say enough good about you guys, and the amount of good that I've seen in this short period of time that we've been together is just blowing my mind. And the communication that we've had with me, you, Ed, and all of the different families, including our boys out in California City and Summer Wells, and all the different cases that you guys have been on. It's just mind blowing, and I'm honored to be here with you guys.
You're an honor to us, everyone.
Ditto.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Rocky, what size shirt do you wear?
2X or extra large tall.
All right. I'm gonna sweeten the pot a little bit. And I'm gonna throw you a shirt also mixed in with this. So.
All
Right.
All right.
Amazing.
That's unbelievable. Thank you guys so much.
So he's
Yeah.
got,
No,
Absolutely.
thank you.
he's got a
No, thank you.
full garb: shirt, hat, wristband. Is there? Do you have sweatpants to go with that?
No.
I might have some he could borrow.
Hey,
I don't know if they'll fit me. I'm pretty tall.
what about the
Right.
EquiSearch? What about the EquiSearch Speedo bathing suit?
Oh no.
No.
I don't
Come on,
know if
Ed.
Dave would want to give that up.
Rocky, all I can tell you is like I said, it's the shirt, the 2X. I'm 6'4", and about 255, so it should fit you pretty well.
That's awesome. I'm 6'6", about 200. So
Oh,
Yeah,
should be
Yeah,
good.
I don't have that. I don't have that extra tall thing, so you might have to tie it up and do like the Daisy Duke thing. But
I'll make it work. I promise.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, what a show! What a show!
Yeah, this
You
is
keep your head up, buddy, and you know that Ed, Ron, Dave, and myself is here for you, because you'll have good days and bad days, but always know you did the right thing. You did the perfect thing with stepping up, and you are our family now, and we are here for you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I definitely will be reaching out, and I'll be picking brains, and this is going to be a lifelong thing for me. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, he's got the bug. He's been bitten.
yeah.
oh yeah, watch. Wait till he steps into this black hole.
I want to just say one thing. There's just so much love in the chat, and I can't get to highlight all of the messages, but I want to say, thank you to each and every one of you who have left positive reinforcement for Rocky, for the EquiSearch team, Dave Rader, Twila Cisco, myself, Ed Wallace. If you're not yet subscribed to this community, consider hitting the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment down below, because Ed and I love to engage in the comments. And I want to just call out a couple of people. Jackie Vineyard, she does the chapters for us, and she just celebrated a birthday a couple of days ago, last week. So happy
birthday.
Happy 29th
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
And also I want to say thank you to Boxing MMA. Gary from Ireland is a moderator, a channel member, a Patreon supporter. This guy supports us with everything that we do. Princess Michelle, another great supporter, her and her husband. Thank you so much for everything that you do. I love and respect you guys over there in Arizona. You guys are awesome. Donna Hawk says, thank you, Ron, for covering Naomi's story, and Rocky conducting her public search. Battleborn strong. Yeah, I love it. So let me put everybody back on. I just wanted to take over just for a second there. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you can, please consider supporting great search groups like EquiSearch Midwest, Rocky, when he gets off the ground with whoever he attaches himself to, whether it's EquiSearch or his local over there, just get around those people, because God forbid, one day, you never know, you may need these folks. And Tim Miller said it well. Out of the 1,000 people that are here, there's going to be one family guaranteed that's going to need EquiSearch or some type of search group. And that was powerful. Dave, you were there when he said that.
Absolutely.
And that's the truth. So somebody here in this chat right here will inevitably need the search services of a search group like EquiSearch Midwest. And
We really do appreciate you, Dutyron. And if it wasn't for you having our back the way you do, and you and Ed supporting us the way y'all do, I'm telling you, I'd be lost without Dutyron and Ed. And y'all bring the most accurate and the most knowledgeable information. There's so much that I've learned from you and Ed that it just blows my mind. Y'all are a part of us, and you guys know that. We love y'all with everything in us.
We love you too.
Love you right back. Love you right back. All right, guys, I'm going to just go round robin here. Ed, anything on the new findings today? Final words for the troops.
Just stay tuned. More to follow. That's all I could say. I wanted to end this show on a happy note and something funny. Do you mind, Ron?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so do you guys? It's a family thing with.
Jeez, I'm sorry to interrupt. Is your hemorrhoids back? No, I'm just kidding.
Rocky, what you need to know is Twila is an expert on hemorrhoids, and she'll fix you right up.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, man.
But
when I get older, I'll remember that.
Okay, so we're talking about how to defend yourself and self-defense. Does everybody in the chat remember the Pink Panther movies?
Yeah,
with Inspector Clouseau and his servant, the man serving Cato. And do you remember, when Inspector Clouseau used to come home and then Cato would attack him? Do you guys remember all of this?
I do.
Yeah. Well, when I first got married, that's the way it was in my household. All right. When I had no kids, I would come home from work and Margaret would be hiding someplace in a ninja outfit, and she'd jump out at me and attack me. And, it was crazy. And I'd have to tell her, not now, Margaret, not now.
Well, Ed Wallace has given us a little insight to the early days with him and Margaret when she would attack him in her ninja outfit.
Awesome. I tell you, I got my ass kicked more than once. Well, that's how I met her. She was, so.
Well, Ed, thank you
for your battles.
Thanks for showing us that you have a human side to you, and we're not just machines here and talking about this stuff. But I definitely want to just throw it over to Rocky. Rocky, just some final words for the audience.
Well, I just want to thank my girlfriend, first of all, because she's been so supportive through this, and I could not have done it without her. I love you, Julianne. And, community is everything. So watch for yourselves, be aware of your own surroundings, and in time, you'll be able to be aware of everybody else's surroundings as well. So maybe we can prevent this instead of having to go out and search for them. So just be really careful and watch out for each other.
Well said, Rocky. And I could add to that is everybody get out there and volunteer.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dave, any final words for people here?
Again, Rocky, thank you for stepping up to the plate. It takes people like you to make a difference. You've now left your footprint. You've now probably found your calling. And it took me into my late 40s to see what my calling was going to be, and I think that you have now you've been chosen. So again, anything that we can do as an organization, myself personally, I'll make sure that Ron has it gives you my number, and you get him your address and information, and I'll get that stuff right to you. But again, I think that we talked about this, Ron, when all this went down. It's especially for women, is pay attention to your surroundings. Get your damn nose out of the phone, and pay attention to what is going on around you. and it could save your life. Lock your doors when you get in the car. Don't think that it can't happen to you, because that's when it's going to hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen to that. I couldn't have said it any better than that, Dave. Thank you. Twila, does she still have internet or no?
I'm still here and I'm super excited. Maybe Rocky bring me some good luck with the internet or something. But I personally want to say thank you to the whole Dutyron family. I want to thank Dutyron and Ed, and of course my director. I feel like he's the best that there is. He knows so much and he's taught me so much. And Rocky, I do want you to know that we are here for you and we are very, very, very proud of you. And always, like I always say, treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. That means so much.
Amen. Amen to that. I want to say thank you to the replay viewers, the live chatters, and all of the folks who have personally and positively engaged here tonight. You guys, again, I can't overemphasize how important and how much we appreciate you. We do not take any of this for granted, and we thank you for taking out your time, an hour and 45 minutes, to hang out with a couple of old, retired, dusty detectives. Ed's going to argue with me on that one.
No, I admit I embrace my age. I embrace the suck. That's what I say. Embrace.
There you go. But just so I can complete this, I want to just say thank you to everyone who has taken the opportunity to subscribe, leave a positive message, leave constructive criticism, leave all of your thoughts down below. As long as it's done respectfully, you could do that here. If you need to reach out to me, go to dutyron.com, where you can leave a message or engage with me personally. Follow me and Ed on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all one word, Dutyron, and we are on Snapchat. So if you want to go over and see some of our short little clips from some of these long live streams that we do, we make clips and we put them up on Snapchat. TikTok. We're not on Snapchat, we're on TikTok. So go and check us out over there on TikTok. And I want to say thank you to Dave Rader and Twila Cisco from EquiSearch Midwest. Lost is not alone. That is what they do. They search for the missing, and thank you for all you do. Rocky Pastorino, my good Irish friend, I want to say thank you to you for all that you've done. We'll continue to communicate. And Ed Wallace, you are amazing, and I appreciate everything that you do for everybody.
Hey, you want to tell that to my wife?
No.
Yeah, before we go, I just want to say I'm not Irish, I'm Italian. Just so we get that straight, because we don't want to have any Italian problems here.
No.
Oh, forget about it. Hey,
He fits in already. He fits in already, y'all.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Rocky's like, hey, if you call me Irish again, you're going to hear this.
If we ever see each other.
All right, guys, like I like to end all of these, God bless the world, God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, but especially all victims of crime and their family. They need us now more than ever. Let's pray for Naomi's family, Casey, his mom, dad, a stepdad, the step boys, the whole entire family. They need us, guys. Let's pray for them and send them strength and positive vibes. Rocky, send Casey our regards, both of your significant others. We're here for you, anything that you need. Good night from New York. I don't know where Twila is, Alabama, Tennessee. You never know with her. Dave, Ohio. Ed is over in Staten Island. And Rocky over in Nevada. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Stay safe, folks.
Thank you.